What's up, everybody? Quinn here with another episode, a brand new episode of Hang 10 for your enjoyment. Had a very long weekend, a very eventful weekend, though it's hard to sparse the details out. Something very unique happened to me. I wrote down what I could. It is as follows. For 6 hours, I've been stuck on this damn elevator, in limbo, in the gray matter that fills the space between thoughts. Neither up nor down. It's purgatory, the worst place to be. Waiting as the air gets heavier with breathable pockets collecting on the floor for perhaps a light to break through those elevator doors, a helping hand to breach the threshold, or a rapid descent to the hard end if there is such a thing in sight. It's never out of mind. Hour 1, I can't recall much. My memory betrays me, but from what I can recollect, a tile floor is a hard place to sleep. Hours 2 and 3 brought a sweet, swift wind from the place below all. The dragon's breath brought me back through the Bay of Pigs in waves of frantic white electricity. The 4th hour came and went like a whistling express that hit hard, like seeing a black cat on the 1st of the month when rent's due, a raining day with no cash in your pocket and an insufferable itch on the back of your ankle. Before I knew it, the train was gone in a mad current, and so were my worries, as Hurricane by Bob Dylan played. Before I knew hour 5 was upon me, I had spent most of it knowing 6 was around the corner. It's a hard thing seeing the end in sight. I wonder if Nero had similar thoughts. That's the thing about vices. You can smell it, you can feel it, and you can see the house on fire, but you just gotta get one last song out. You gotta complete the set. The twilight hour happened at dawn and dragged on to midday. Every time I shut my eyes to freeze a moment, 1,000 years felt like they passed. I observed every timeline, each one drier than the last. Today, 7 a.m. Hawaii time, 10 a.m. California time, the Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, traveled to Buffalo, New York, arrived last night, and before we knew it, we were right on the playing field. It was my game of the week. If you listened to last week's episode of Closers Podcast, then you know it was. And I think it lived up to the hype. Two of the best teams in the NFL went to battle. And it should be noted that our Rams overcame a 25-point deficit to take the lead. Now let's get this out of the way. We didn't win the game. We lost 35-32. But at halftime, we were down 25 points, 28-3. It was looking bleak, but I was very impressed with how resilient we were, how tough we fought back. You know, those are the makings of a good team. I'm not a big Conor McGregor supporter, but one thing his coach says, the title of his book, win or learn. We didn't win today, but I felt like we learned a lot, not only about ourselves, but how we can be going forward. There's no such thing as a good loss, but this was a very teachable one. I think we're going to come out of this a lot better. And the schedule favors us too. Our next 2 games, New York Giants, Washington Football Club. We can rebuild, we can practice, tune up, get things going tight. Individual stats, our quarterback, number 16, Jared Goff, 23 for 32, 321 yards. 2 touchdowns, 1 INT. I think Jared's been playing a lot better. The work he's put in through the offseason is evident. I've been utterly amazed, blown away. He's standing tall in the pocket. He's delivering the ball on time. He's taking strikes when he has to take strikes. And this Rams running game, pretty sure we're first in the league. Darrell Henderson's 2nd week in a row, 20 carries, 114 yards. Averaging 5.7 yards a carry and another touchdown. Darrell Henderson is balling. Malcolm Brown supplemented. Can't hate on it. It's awesome to see how the Rams running game is operating at such a finely tuned pace, considering the chatter about losing Todd Gurley, the questions about our running game, our offensive line proving yet again that they may be the best in the NFL this year. Now we are, going into week 4, so slight premature chatter, but it is what it is. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods each came away with a touchdown each. Cooper Kupp racking up receptions. Our defense continues to be a bend don't break defense. When we needed them most, we really got big plays. Except for obviously the one that sealed us. It was 3rd and 22. Cole Beasley, Mr. Whack-a-Mole himself, got the 3rd down conversion that kind of sealed the Bills scoring drive. It is what it is. We'll get better. But double nines came away with 2 sacks, one of which was a strip sack and a fumble recovery. John Johnson came away with 1 INT. It was slightly questionable. For the Bills, Cole Beasley, 6 receptions for 100 yards. That guy, he's like a teleporter on the field. He pops up exactly where Josh Allen needs him to be. It's intolerably frustrating. The team rushed for 101 yards. Josh Allen himself, 24 for 33, 4 passing touchdowns. Coming out of this game, our biggest hole on the defense appears to be our ability to stop the run. That seemed to continue. That's something we got to shore up, especially, I'm presuming we'll get to postseason football, but, once we get to postseason football, stopping the run is absolutely paramount. And I'd like to see us finish drives more. That was something that we struggled with. We were moving the ball well. We were controlling the clock well. We were getting downfield, but we couldn't finish drives, whether it be with our, our place kicker or whether it be, getting into the red zone and getting 6. But all in all, it's not a loss that I hang my head on. I think coming out of this game, overcoming the deficit in which we did, I think is going to open a lot of eyes, and people are going to see us, and they're going to see us Avatar style, James Cameron. When the Blue Na'vi people, when they give something recognition, I see you. Or in Mad Max Fury Road, witness me. I think we witnessed the Rams today. And though it was a loss, we'll be ready for the next one. On Saturday was UFC 253. In the co-main event, Jan Blachowicz KO'd Dominic Reyes in the 2nd round. I had picked Jan Blachowicz to win, but I thought he was going to finish Dom Reyes in the championship rounds. I mean, what can I say? It's always cool to see a guy like Jan Blachowicz, who is 37 years old, who's been in the UFC for over 5 years now, over 30 professional fights. It's cool to see someone achieve, to get to that mountaintop, to get to the peak. And that's exactly what Jan Blachowicz did. It was super tight, super cool. I don't know how long a championship reign with Jan can last. The UFC light heavyweight division seems to be getting younger slowly. It's creeping its way towards the next generation. Of course, John Jones has vacated the light heavyweight title, which is why we had this event in the first place. It's more than likely that Jan Blachowicz' next bout will be between Thiago Santos and Glover Teixeira, whoever the winner of that is. I'd put my early money on Thiago Santos. In the main event, Israel Adesanya, representing New Zealand by way of Nigeria, got a 2nd round finish over Paulo Costa. Battle of the undefeateds, 19-0 versus, I believe, 13-0. Israel Adesanya progresses to 20-0, a career milestone. And it was an absolute clinic that Adesanya put on Paulo Costa. It really reminded me of when, in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku returns to Earth after training on King Kai's planet and just wrecks Nappa. Just completely fucking wrecks him in like 4 moves. That's how I felt this fight went. Adesanya beat Paulo Costa with oppression. That was the main note I took. I imagined for Paulo Costa fighting Israel Adesanya, it was like walking through the fucking Sahara, walking through the desert with no water. Just that relentless, oppressive heat weighing down on you, bearing down on you. First, you saw Paulo Costa's knee go, and then eventually he succumbed to the heat, succumbed to the pressure. Vicious strikes, accurate strikes from Israel Adesanya. Coming out of it, what do we need going forward as a fan base? What are we looking for? We're at this point in Israel Adesanya's career where he requires an antagonist. He requires a rival. Anderson Silva had Chael Sonnen. Conor McGregor has, present tense, Nathan Diaz, the soul of Stockton. Who is going to be the son in the Diaz for Israel Adesanya? Coming up, UFC 254, Jared Cannonier takes on our man, fellow Polynesian, Bobby Knuckles, a.k.a. Robert Whittaker, the Reaper. Israel Adesanya tipped his hat. He would like the fresh matchup of Jared Cannonier. Obviously, on this channel, we're pulling for Bobby Knuckles. Hopefully, the diversity of Bobby Knuckles' game can get it done against Jared Cannonier, and we can get that redemption match, hopefully. I think Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker, has all the tools, the fight IQ, to perhaps be that sporting antagonist to Israel Adesanya. We'll see. But right now, I mean, betting against Adesanya is increasingly becoming a fool's errand. But on this channel, we always pull for the Polynesians. So we'll be pulling for Robert Whittaker to defeat Jared Cannonier, UFC 254, tail end of October. Your main event, Khabib versus Gaethje. That's pretty much how my weekend went. It was very anecdotal outside of the Rams game and UFC 253, that is. Of course, the Rams took a L on Sunday morning today, but it wasn't the only L that was taken this week. America took a big L earlier this week with the verdict of the Breonna Taylor thing. Murder. There's no other way to put it. Murder. The Breonna Taylor murder. This isn't a political show, so we'll keep it that way. But what I will say is this. As society progresses to a more equitable state, so too must the structures that maintain it. I'll repeat that. As society progresses to a more equitable state, so too must the structures that maintain it. And that is my final thought. That's the end of this episode of Hang 10 with Quinn Kalani. Thanks for stopping by. As always, stay smart, stay safe, and God bless. Adios. We will see you again next Monday. Of course, you can hear us on Wednesday. Me and Marco will be bringing you another episode of the Closers Podcast. And then Marco will close out your week, quite literally, with closing out the week on Friday. So look forward to all that on our channels, YouTube, The Closers Podcast, Instagram, at The Closers Podcast, Facebook, Closers Podcast. And that's it. Adios, everyone. Take care.